They might be in the waiting room for the PR committee because I accidentally clicked that when I first went on the website to get you.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
then you think about that because it did show up on the website. You want me to exit, go check and come back?
Yeah, sure.
Well, if the PR committee had a waiting room, so you wouldn't be able to see anything, only Naomi.
Yeah.
I can go in as the host.
Oh, well, I don't know then.
And give it a try. So I think even though Marky's going to check on that, I think we are going to call this meeting to order at. Yep, we're going to call this meeting to order at 10:35 a.m. This meeting is called to order. Amy, could you take over for roll call?
Yes. So President Naomi,
Present.
do I now call Ramses?
No, you call Ramses.
Okay, Vice President Ramses. Okay, President Mark.
He
left, didn't he? Director of Legislative Affairs Jacob.
Here.
Director of Public Relations Nick. Directors of Activities Amon.
Here.
Directors of Communications Amy, present. Senator David. Senator Soule. Senator Soule.
Present, sorry.
You're good. Senator Rachel. Senator Reed. Senator Stacy.
Present.
Senator Mary Kay.
Present.
Senator Hamza.
Present.
Senator Beheshta is excused. Senator Sasha.
Present.
Senator Efsoon.
She's trying to join right now.
Okay.
Present.
Senator Oscar. And looks like 12 out of 18 is here, so quorum has been met.
Perfect. Awesome. Quorum has been met. Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Again, I want to remind everybody they can always find the agenda on the website. It's on the homepage under, if you go to upcoming events and then click on agenda, you'll always find it there. And it has the Zoom link to join here as well. So if you guys could take a look at the agenda. It's light load today. Okay. Hearing and seeing no comments, we're going to assume that the agenda is adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes for October 23rd. I don't think I sent these out to you, so that's my bad. So we are going to move that to next week, to next week's agenda. So I'm gonna skip over that right now. And then moving on to chair's message. Hi everyone. Few things, it's a light load today. We have the campus president impression panel today, starting at 12:10, but if you guys could all make it there at 12, I think it was asked of you. Password is ASB student, oh no, ARC student, sorry, ARC student. And then another thing, district task forces. I brought this up last time. For SAC committee, they've created several district task forces, and they're looking for the people of interest, POIs, who are the rotating chairs of those task forces, as well as just members. So if you're interested, let me know. or just try to get the word out, because any student can join this. Oh, I had another thing. What is it? Oh, I can't remember. Okay, Brett, I'm gonna turn it over to you. If I remember, I'll say something.
I know how that goes, trust me. So if you remember, you can do it on board member reports too. So like Naomi said, real light today. Big afternoon. So I'm gonna talk about that here in a sec, but a couple other announcements. As you all know, hopefully spring schedules came out Monday. So start scheming what you want your spring to look like. Obviously it's gonna be remote, but I believe, I haven't actually had time to check the schedule yet, but it will tell you if it's synchronous or asynchronous. So make sure you game plan for that, especially if you plan on graduating in the spring. You really want to make sure that your classes are lined up and you got the ones that you need. Just some other announcements. We did make an offer for someone to fill the role of our Undocu Scholar Center, kind of our day-to-day person. They're working on another job right now, so they have to give their 2 weeks notice, and we got to do the paperwork. So hopefully they're going to be starting in a couple weeks. But we're really excited of who we brought on and think they're going to be a great fit. So at some point I'll be able to announce who that is. I just can't yet. If you get a chance, and like Beheshta showed you all last week, the Zoom ID cards, the access cards, I know Naomi has one. You know, if you're interested in doing that, we're trying to, the Sages are going to, I think starting next week, start promoting those. So, you know, if you're in class and you want to kind of represent, please do. Obviously Tuesday's a big day, voting. So if you haven't submitted a ballot already, make sure you do. A lot of places are doing drop-off locations where you can actually just drive up, drop it off. ARC is one of those places. So if you're a Sacramento County resident, you can go to the community rooms on Tuesday, or I think they're even there Monday, and you can drop them off. So and a little side tip, you could actually probably, if you have transportation, pull up in front of the community rooms and use the campus Wi-Fi. If that's a issue for you. So other than that, the impression panels is the last thing I want to talk about. How many of you, I think I'm allowed to ask this, how many of you are able to attend today?
I can.
Okay. So I got the list of candidates late last night. There's 4 candidates. I don't want to dive in here on like who they are yet. I'll talk about that at 12. But my big ask is that you are there for all 4 candidates, right? It's only equitable to have, you know, you can't sit in on 2 and then be like, I gotta go. So 4 candidates, the questions that you all worked on, I submitted to HR. They did have to edit some. I didn't agree with that, but they said it wasn't equitable for an outside candidate to not know what was going on about Aramark or the equity plan. So it's frustrating, but I think you could still get a read of how they're going to feel about that based on some of the other questions. Afterwards, we'll do a real quick, like, strengths, weaknesses for each candidate. We don't get to rank them. So you can't say, we want this person. You can hint that you want that person, but you can't rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll talk about that at 12 today. I'll also email out to anyone that's in that room the candidate bios, the job description, and a couple other resources too. So that's all I have. Oh, Naomi, can I share about the 12th? So
Yes.
Friday, November 12th, we're not going to have a Senate meeting. Or 13th, excuse me, November 13th.
13th, yeah.
So you can open your calendars. However, I noticed this morning when I was working on my calendar that the Vice President of Instruction has impression panels that day. So same process that y'all are doing today, except it's for the Vice President of Instruction. Right now we have an interim person in that role. So it's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, it's good to be involved in that process, don't get me wrong, but I was hoping, and Naomi was hoping, that y'all have been grinding for all semester and y'all need a break. And that was the day we kind of picked, and then that popped up. So stay tuned for that, but there will be no Senate meeting on the 13th. So you can sleep in. And with that, I will turn it back over to Naomi. So thank you.
Thank you, Brett. I remembered the thing that I forgot. So going back to chair message, I still need someone to fill in for Cave next Tuesday. It is important. We want to make sure that quorum is met. Well, that will be met if you should. No, wait, hang on. Scratch
I was
that.
just getting ready to tell you
Scratch
that.
that. Nope, never mind. Forget that. Forget it. Moving on to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to appointments and swearing in. We have none, so moving on to unfinished business, we have none. Moving on to new business, we have none. Moving on to committee reports. Is there someone from a committee who wishes to make a report?
Chair.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So I met with the Affordable Learning Materials Committee. They're still trying to send out some stuff to the teachers and get them to respond about OERs. One thing is I also attended the meeting for the Academic Senate for Cal Community Colleges Open Education Resource Initiative Coordinating Council, long acronym. So they were trying to look for people to be leads on developing OERs to make stuff cheaper. There's a long list of classes they're trying to do, and they're doing a couple other things, but just to keep people informed. And I guess this isn't really a committee report, but there's also block grant advocacy that we could be doing. And what the block grant is $120 million is getting allocated to the California Community College system. 66 million in some change is from Prop 98 funds, and then the rest of it is from CARES Act funds. And so that's going to get allocated from, I think it's from the Student Aid Commission to the different districts, and then from there, the districts are going to spend it on whatever they want to spend it on. And so it has been advised that we send a letter to the Board of Trustees saying what we wish for the funds to be spent on. So that's just something to think about.
Thank you, Jacob. It's definitely something to think about. Okay. Any other committee reports? I know that Public Relations Committee met this week. So, okay, let me see. Okay, Nick and Reed are not on this call. So I was there. I can tell you what we talked about, what we discussed was our creating of the Canvas class shell for Student Senate. So discussing what that would look like. So I can't remember all the details, but it was the basically just kind of going through what we'd want to have there, how we'd want to have things on there. Talked about having kind of a constitution and bylaws training done through video lectures that we'd have to create. So, see how that goes. Interesting ideas. Yeah, and I think that's all I have for PR committee. Is there any other committee that met this week, or anyone else who wants to make a committee report?
Sure.
Austin?
Yes. So it was last weekend actually for the Region 2 SSCCC Finance Committee. We are putting a proposal and a fundraising campaign together to ask again businesses and groups who are fall within the line and guidelines of the guidelines that we set to ask for donations for the SSCCC Region 2, because the region itself doesn't have any finances and we're trying to create a finance budget for the region. So starting next year, we can put out more programs for the colleges within the region and also help out students. To do this, we are offering a talk series, and after discussing within us, we are going to bring speakers that represent and can help DACA students, LGBTQ plus community, and homeless students as well. So we're working to get members from our community to become speakers and then invite students to join these talks and use these talks as a way to ask from businesses for donations to Region 2. And we're working on that to bring the plan together and send the invites out. But that's the report from Regional Finance Committee.
Chair,
Thank you.
may I ask a
Jacob, yeah,
question?
go ahead.
So, Efsun, this is more of a question about the reasoning behind the finances or the fundraising. Sorry. What is the goal of the fundraising? Because I know this spring, actually last year, we got a proposition passed that allowed for $1 from the SRF funds to go to the SSCCC. So they should be receiving roughly $1 million in funding here in the spring. What is the goal of fundraising? Is it because you don't foresee enough funds coming from the SSCCC down to the regions, or an SRF is student representation fee? And so what's I
Yeah,
just,
no, from my understanding, and during the last meeting, we were literally going in circles as well, asking what we were doing. From my understanding and what the chair explained is that we have no funding available. So we want to create our own funds because at the time the region doesn't have any funds. He didn't specify, he didn't go into what you just explained. So my understanding coming out of that meeting was that we don't have any funds of our own. And by doing this, they want the region to be somewhat self-sufficient, but also be able to fundraise. But we pretty much, and I can connect you with him through email, but the timeline was we don't have any funds, but we also like to start doing fundraising campaign. And what would we like to offer in turn for, businesses to be, and sorry, today I'm not finding the right words, but pretty much the idea is this: we are going to ask businesses and individuals and organizations to donate money to the region. We don't necessarily have to do anything for it, but at the same time, we are putting a talk series out as evidence to show that as a region, we are active and we are helping our students and raising awareness, but please donate money to us so the region can have its own funds. What the funds are going to go later on for the explanation, and this was all general because we were mostly trying to figure out what groups to represent to our talks and when to do these talks before the semester is over. We didn't really go into what we are planning to do with the money. For example, we didn't talk about whether this money is going into scholarships, whether this money is going to be available to all the colleges within, Region 2, so they could just come to the finance committee and be like, hey, we're short on budgets. But it seems like it will be a kind of a budget that's available for future members coming into Region 2 to be able to do more activities. But there was no talk of money coming from CFR or CRF. I apologize if I mispronounced it. There was no talk about that. So I'm not quite sure if I'm not saying the chair doesn't know, but
yeah.
There was no premeditated talk about, oh, hey, we need more funds. The understanding, like, we have no funds.
Chair, may I ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
This is not really a discussion section of the agenda. So if we had the parliamentarians, they wouldn't allow it, but I am more lenient, so I say go ahead.
Okay. So basically, I'm confused on what they're getting donations. I guess you said you don't really know, but again, is it like for just operations from here up until the spring when they get money? Because even if the board was given $50,000, just like every other region, say they all got $50,000, the SSCCC executive board would still have $500,000 from that. And I don't really see what, the region would be spending it on, because last year when we were doing in-person operations, we spent, you know, a couple $100, maybe less than $1,000 for the entire year, and we were able to do everything. So I'm very confused on what they would need to be fundraising for. But I guess that's just me because I'm trying to fundraise for something else too.
No, it's totally fine. And I,
Austin,
oh, sorry.
sorry. I just want to remind the board, questions need to be asked to the chair so that just everything goes to the chair. I'm sorry, I know it sounds, it's annoying, but you're okay.
My
Austin, go ahead, go answer.
No, sorry, Chair. Yes, if I may be recognized.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So to answer the question, I can send to you, the chair, and also Jacob, a copy of the file that we were working on. Again, for the first 45 minutes of that meeting, we were pretty much going around because we all misunderstood, not that what the finance was for, we couldn't put it together. If we need to put the talks and then bring the people in saying, hey, look what we are doing, so give us money because we are helping the students. So we are just approaching businesses and again, organization asking for donations to Region 2. And the way it was said by the chair is, so we have, and this is one of the reasons as to why in the letter of fundraising that we're going to send to these businesses, we are just trying to, one, raise awareness for some of the problems that are on campuses, and also raise funds for Region 2 for next year's and future generations of officers when they're coming in to use the funds. But like I said, I myself was under the impression, and this sentence was said by the chair, that we currently have no funds. But yeah, yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Afsoon. We are limited on the time for committee reports, so I want to first check, is there anyone else who has a committee report to make? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we're going to move on to board member reports. Are there any board member reports? Okay, I have one. I went to a student training yesterday. It was, I promised I would have let you guys all know about it so you could have attended, but I only heard about it last minute. It was a parliamentary procedure training, a SLADE parliamentary procedure training. So that's in our own district. And I just wanted to share something that was kind of interesting in the meeting, was how they had a mock meeting. They and this, by the way, was run by the parliamentarians that we've had in the future, Lorenzo and Tammy. And they created scripts for everyone so that people played a specific role in the meeting. So we weren't really put on the spot, and we're like, okay, this is kind of faking what we're doing. But I will say it was an interesting idea for a training, and I thought it was pretty cool. And again, they're gonna have one in November, and I will let you know when it is, so that you guys can all have a chance to come to that one.
Naomi, can I add to that just super quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll be perfectly honest, that training for me got lost in the shuffle of everything else going on. So I need to do better of promoting that for you all. So it came together kind of not super last minute, but kind of, and I should have pushed that out to you all. So they, like Naomi said, there will be another one in November. So especially if you're new and you still are trying to learn like motions and all that stuff, it'll be a good training. So yeah, so I apologize for that.
Thanks, Brent. Any other board member reports or announcements? Sasha, do you want to share anything about the science fair? I know I'm really excited and I can't go, so I'm living vicariously through the announcements.
So today at 12, I know we also have the president appointment thing going on today too. So
yeah, student impression panel.
Impression panel, yeah. And but we having a science fair. It's been mentioned a couple times. So, but it's very exciting. I'm gonna teach everyone how to code up a spooky website. But that's for computer science. There's also biology and chemistry and physics and engineering and stuff like that. So you can attend those. I think another cool one is origami. for engineering. So you get to learn some origami. We also have prizes, and we're gonna even play Among Us at the end. So
Oh,
definitely, if you want to come, like show up.
thank you, Sasha. Okay, let's see. I'm seeing some people with hands raised. Mark, are you trying to make an announcement or a board member report?
Yeah, so just give you an update on CABE. We went ahead and sent an email out to all of the officially chartered clubs to let them know about Booth Central. We got some responses back. They're excited. So we'll be launching a virtual club day. Stay tuned to more info on that. But that's pretty much what I have on CABE's end.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I see Stacy's hand. I also see Austin's hand. I want to make sure Austin, is this from before or is this a new hand? Okay, well, we'll find out. Stacy, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. As I've mentioned at previous meetings, I've been participating in Professor Jesus Valle's Native American Applied Allyship series, and that's been on my mind a lot lately. So I just wanted to share with the board this week. I wanted to encourage you to think about what I'm thinking about, which is, what does Native sovereignty mean to me? And what am I doing to further the ends of the Indigenous Land Statement at ARC? Not to just acknowledge, but to further. That's my share this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, if there are no other board member reports or announcements, we will move on to public comment. Okay, if there's no other public comment, then we will move on to adjournment. This meeting, if there are no objections, this meeting will be adjourned at 11:01. Hearing and seeing no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Wow, fastest meeting ever. Okay, stop recording.